So I have this lovely little green belt, but as you can see, out there, beyond my dog, is a main road. And then we have apartments. And then up there's more buildings. And so all around this green belt has been buildings, but this little green belt has been spared for the wildlife. And I like to bring love, to tread lightly, to let it get to know my presence first. I've been doing that for almost 2 years on this side. This side has been a little bit more barren than the side where there's pathways that people walk in. This one, you don't see people very often. There was like a little homeless camp, not a camp where a lot of people are, but like a hut right over there, and where you see that bamboo, and they tore it down. But people dump things, you know, like pillows and mattresses, and there's barbed wire and just junk, and we've been cleaning it up for quite a while, and it still needs clean up. There's new trash here that needs to come up. Like here's a fence post just sticking out of the ground. So just taking care of the wildlife, what's left of it within the cities and towns that we've built. If we could take care of that, is so precious anymore. It's like precious gemstones to have even a little area where you can come and just experience the presence of trees grown wild and squirrels running about, birds and deer every once in a while. I've seen mink. We have beavers, evidence of beavers that the trees have been gnawed at around here. Beaver dams. I've seen salmon coming down that creek. Heard the owls, hawks, a lot of wildlife. And I'm so glad it has this, and I just want to tread lightly and listen to the land and revive its trust in humanity. I've heard tell that when the nature spirits that inhabit nature cease to trust humanity, they abandon the areas, the nature areas, where they don't feel safe anymore. And then the nature areas feel abandoned. They feel very lifeless. And this area is kind of like that. It's been a little lifeless. On the other side, I've worked on it for over a year, and when I first came it felt lifeless, but now I feel like there's been trust developed there, and it feels way more alive than this side. This side feels very lifeless, but this side too has the apartment so close to it. So, I don't know. I'm just little by little doing what I can to love on nature. See, here we go. We got to come out and get these. I'm going to get some big garbage cans, and I don't know, maybe between the two of us we can get some of these gross pillows that have been thrown out here and out here for a while. We've dug up clothes and blankets, and we've taken things that were wedged in trees and metal pieces, and just so much disrespect for Mama Earth. And this is our little portal into this area, specific area. So come in right there. And then this is a little panorama. That's Rain, that tree that bends over right there. Look, if you look at him, he looks like a little reindeer. So I named him Rain. I haven't really named any tree but that one out here yet, because because of exactly what I said. It just feels so barren, and right now I just feel like it needs to get used to the presence of a person that is not disrespecting it. I don't know. I'm hoping there's enough tree spirits, nature spirits left here to revive it. This is the portal. As you can see, I lined the portal with some rose petals. So I'll make little offerings every once in a while. And then when you get to this side, it's still a little barren over here, but not quite as much. You can feel already it livening up. Look how beautiful that is. I love the moss on the trees. It's so freaking gorgeous. Look at this moss over here. It's just got such a beautiful color, and to me it also signifies life. And I'll see there's little mushrooms. There's been a lot of mushrooms this year, way more than last year. And I think there's a beehive down in there, so we have to be careful. My husband says he thinks there's a beehive in there. So we got to be careful around that. Here's an old barbecue that was out here for a while. It was standing up, but somebody pulled it down and then just left it out here. You know, just stuff like that. It's just like, what's the point, you know, just destroying what little bit of beautiful nature you have left. There's that portal from the other side of it now. And you can feel a little bit of life coming in here, a little bit more life. Even in the water, the spirits of the water are more lively in this area. And then that's the area going into the other part of the wild area before we actually get to the paths where people walk regularly. Right in here you see these birch trees, these beautiful white birch trees. Oh my gosh, there were so many of them in here, and they came. I'm gonna see if I can zoom out a little bit. They came and they cut a ton of them down. I kept a piece of the branch and hung it in my kitchen, of one of the branches from the piles. But they're so beautiful. They have such a beautiful white color. And then we have some eucalyptus there. But mostly in this area is oaks, and oaks are so sacred. So you know it's a magical area when you got oaks growing everywhere. But they've cut so much down, and more of the ancient oaks are gone. The larger ones. Look at that across the way. You see that? What's left of an old ancient oak. Guys, I feel so blessed to have this right outside my apartments, my complex, which is over there. We also have big pine trees around our complex that I dubbed the Watchers because they just look like ancient watchers, protectors of the apartments that we have. You can hear the birds, the train in the distance. If you notice, it's just becoming more lively in here. Of course, we have kids in the background too, which are always beautiful. But already you can feel how much more alive it is in here. And to tell you the truth, it was very deadened when I first got here. And I just started asking, praying over it and asking for the birds and the wildlife to return. And now this whole area is so much more lively. It's so much more full of wildlife, and it's green, and it just feels more alive. The birds returned. It took a while for the birds to return, but they came back, and I remember the morning I woke up and heard the birds. Look at this ancient oak. How beautiful that is. Did you hear her right? And I said that. Wow, how funny is that? This tree straight ahead, I always call the portal tree because it's so tall and so straight, and it just reminded me of a tree. So stable, tall, and pristine, and that nature spirits might come in and out of. There it is above me. As you can see, the path is coming now ahead of us, and that is what we call the south side. And that is the area where I worked with the most, where I walk the most. This other side that I've been on didn't even feel safe in the beginning, but now it feels safe. It feels like it's been cleared of just dark energy, I think, pretty much. I felt like it was more angry energy and sad energy, just angry. And then I think it feels very cleared out now. So I didn't walk that side very often, but now I feel it just barely starting to come back to life. And so we'll see what happens. But this path ahead of me is where I felt like I brought so much back into the land, so much connection with humans again, where it was a positive connection and not something that's disconnected. Those are like little hills. I always call them fairy mounds. And the creek is over here. Here's a little portal. Right here, 2 big trees out to the creek. Let's go in there. You can even hear the birds a little more over here. And we're in the dead of winter, so that's pretty lively for winter. Okay, there you are, the watchers. Look at how many of them there are, and they're big. You can see the top of the 2-story apartment right there. There's some more on this side. Come on, let's go this way. Come on. So guys, I got those pillows out of here. They were straight ahead on that path right there. And I came out today with a garbage bag, a black cheap garbage bag from the dollar store that wasn't very strong. I should have gotten something stronger, but I made it to the dumpster at our apartments with my dog in tow. And oh my gosh, see how long they've laid here. Here's where one was laying, I believe. And gosh, you know what? This is another one we're gonna have to dig out. Ugh, isn't that gross? I put some gloves on. We'll have to do some more cleaning, but I only had one bag, so I'll do it later. Oh, look at the little mushroom family. How adorable. Hi, guys. Look at them. Oh, I'm sure nature loves it. I know I love it. When we clean some of that trash up that just gets thrown out here. Look, so here's another thing I got to get out next time I come. get out of here is, I don't know what that ever was. I did a little picture of it at Christmas time and said it looks like Santa got ran over by that reindeer after all. Hunter sees or feels something in this wood pile living in there. He's always getting in that. Come on, Hunter, let's go. Come on. Come on. You see all the junk here. This is right by the apartments. And over there you can see a hose sticking out of the ground, an old hose. They smell really good. My thing is, this is my neighborhood and I don't want it to look trashed. I feel like that's law of attraction, and when you can walk into your nature area and you focus on, oh, I'm gonna make this magical, I'm gonna bring stillness, I'm gonna just quietly remove things that don't belong to its beauty, to its wild nature, you know, just quietly remove it so that it doesn't interrupt the flow of peace and tranquility on my walks and other people's walks. It's not just a service to nature, it's a service to humanity as well.